What is going on, Shark fans? Hockey season begins on Sunday. Big game to look forward to, or big season to look forward to. Say a lot of things to look at. This is going to be a very interesting season for the fact that it's a short year, and then it's just the fact that this team will be playing with very little practice in a very 1 week, very short training camp in 1 week long. First of all, we'll talk about the additions. The big addition, of course, Brad Stewart, the only guy we picked up via trading for his signing rights, which we signed to a hometown discount. 32, being at age 32, you're not past your prime, so welcome back, Brad Stewart, to the Sharks. As the bet, we needed a defenseman. We clearly needed at least one, and at least we addressed that by signing Brad Stewart. That's who Doug Wilson felt was the best on the market. The only other move the Sharks made in addition, or in adding a player, was Adam Burish. That's the only other player they added in free agency. That's a defensive forward. Hopefully he fixes our bottom six a little bit better than the previous years. So looking down at the roster, still, you got Joe Pavelski, Joe Thornton, Patrick Marleau on the first line as expected. Maybe McClellan will split up someone and put someone on the bottom for depth. Pretty good line last year. It worked out fine. Hopefully Marleau can wake up from his silence, because he may have potted 30 goals last year, but people are going to forget it because of how silent he was in the postseason. And sometimes you just question his heart. Sometimes. That Jeremy Roenick thing, it almost feels like he's right about Gutless, and I'm worried there. Going on the second line, you got the 9 line, as I like to call it, because you got Logan Couture, who's 39, Martin Havlat, who's 9, and Ryan Clough at 29. That's the second line expected. Did okay. Havlat was injured, but when he was healthy, he was fine. He's got to be healthy, and when he's healthy, I know he's decent. Otherwise, Couture should be picking up from where he was last year. He didn't have anything close to a sophomore slump. Pretty good year for him. Clough battled an injury. He's got to pick it up, because I did not like what I saw from him last season. He got more famous for touching the puck, which Kings fans are still bitter about. I don't know why, but touching the puck, that's the only thing he was famous for from last year. Third, fourth lines, you got a mixture of Andrew Desjardins. You can have Adam Burish, as I just said, who got added in. T.J. Gagliardi, who's a guy we picked up in trade at the deadline. Last year we re-signed him. Still kind of pissed off we didn't keep Daniel Winnick, but it is what it is. You can't really do much about anything now. And then you say goodbye to guys like Torrey Mitchell and Brad Winchester, who are no longer with us. They leave. Gagliardi, I really hope he pans out, because that's the guy we've invested Jamie McGinn in, another guy when we traded away. I felt he had top 6 minutes. I felt he was a decent player to keep, and the fact that our organization just found him expendable was very frustrating. Other players, of course, Michael Handzus, a guy who struggled last year. He was battling an injury. Hopefully he's healthy. He really had he had a great start, but he had a disappointing year last season. I didn't like what I saw from him. I know there's still a lot of things with the Sharks team. Forwards-wise, we're supposed to know how to score. We have decent forwards. That has always been a good thing about the Sharks, is they know how to score. But the issue is having defensive forwards, and that's where the bottom 6 happens. We got to have guys who can play defense and have defensive forwards, because we've had issue there. And that's Adam Burish was the only thing we were able to address. Otherwise, hopefully everyone can do well in penalty killing. But we'll get to that a little later. Defensive pairings. Good news. Brent Burns looks like he's healthy. He looks like he should be ready to go. He should be paired with, I believe, Marc-Edouard Vlasic. Maybe he could be with Brad Stewart. I don't know. But there's even rumors he could be paired with Dan Boyle. Boyle and Burns, that's 2 offensive guys, and then Vlasic and Brad Stewart, 2 shutdown guys. That would be an interesting idea, but you never know. You never know what McClellan chooses to do. Those are decent top 4 D-men. I think we addressed that well. Vlasic, I'm very happy he got an extension. Really, that's a steal for the cap hit we're giving him. Vlasic is going to be well worth every penny in that. I firmly believe that. Burns, just hopefully defensively he looks better. It's not like he was bad, but now Burns is more known for his manly and ridiculous mugshot, which if you haven't seen that already, go ahead and laugh. Boyle got a rebound from last year. Didn't like what I saw from him last season, but he was battling some injuries. wasn't all the way healthy, and hopefully he can be better. Going down to the bottom pairing, this is where things get very, very interesting. Justin Braun, very capable of third pairing. I like him, but he's got to be healthy. Issues there. The other problem, the other guy, we're not sure. Does it become Jason Demers? Maybe. Should be Douglas Murray. That's the guy, theoretically, that goes here. The only issue is Murray, he's got a rebound from last year. He's another guy who battled through injuries, and he wasn't looking good. Last year was a disaster of a season for him, in my opinion, from what I saw. Jason Demers isn't healthy, though, so that last pairing, a little bit of question marks. I mean, I like Justin Braun and Douglas Murray, theoretically speaking, but I'm not sure about health. Otherwise, we got to be starting going to the farm. We're going to go with Nicholas Petrecki for all we know. I'm not sure. Interesting wild cards we're going to be seeing in the bottom six, and maybe one of those guys could get a second line minutes if, say, we put Marlowe or Pavelski down to the second line. Maybe McClellan makes a few mixes and mixes it up. Could see Tommy Wingels come in, and he did okay, I thought, for a guy with little experience. James Shepard, another ex-Wild player besides Havlad and Burns. James Shepard traded a third-round pick for this guy, first-round bust. Maybe he'll be an effective bottom six guy. He's one guy who's benefited from this lockout because he's gotten playing time in Worcester, Massachusetts. So good. He's been playing all right, and I know we called him up. So hopefully the farm, he did well on the farm, that he can get experience in the NHL. Still, bottom six forwards. That will be the big key there, still, for this season. Lastly, of course, the penalty killing. That was the biggest issue with this team the entire year. Team didn't know how to do it. Team had no idea what penalty killing was. They were ranked right near the bottom. I think they were 30th or 29th, right there. And thankfully, I think Jay Woodcroft is not doing penalty killing. Larry Robinson comes in. Enter Larry Robinson, Jim Johnson, two assistant coaches who come in, very capable, proven coaches that know what they're doing defensively. Our penalty killing's got to be better. Larry Robinson, I've said it before in my other hockey videos, I've made many, but Larry Robinson, I think, is our biggest pickup of the offseason, just in terms of getting somebody, making a change. Larry Robinson is a proven guy, did a good job with the Devils. He's even taken over as head coach, which brings me to another point. People might say I'm harsh on Todd McClellan, but if there's a really cold point and say the team gets at a point where it's dangerous, McClellan, I think, could be gone if they underachieve again. I know people might say he was battling through injuries last year, which is true. The team wasn't healthy last year. But if the team is healthy and this team suddenly starts kind of falling off the way they did last year in the second half, I don't know. Larry Robinson, I think, is very capable of taking over a head coach. That's just me. I know some of you might disagree on that, but Larry Robinson has done it before. He's been a head coach at times, and I think he's capable of being our head coach and waiting if Todd McClellan doesn't make good adjustments. I mean, here's the thing. Our system of taking possession and just shooting the puck left and right, throwing whatever you have at the net, I don't know if it's going to work anymore, going finesse. Teams have gotten more defensive, and when a team plays very defensive on us, that's our kryptonite. Especially, I mean, the St. Louis Blues was one of the worst matchups for us in terms of style of play. Ken Hitchcock's defense first kind of thing and counterattacking, it works really well on the Sharks. McClellan's got to be able to adjust to this game because that system, I'm not saying Mike Babcock's a bad coach or anything, but this system of this Detroit style of just having the possession and throwing what you have at the net, I don't know if it's going to work. I don't think it can work in winning games today, and they got to adjust that. So that's what I always say, McClellan. I'm not saying I hate him and I want him gone, but if there's a really cold, say the season does get cold and it's a mess, it's going to be interesting because Thornton and Marlowe are on expiring contracts. Ryan Clough is a free agent. This really, I think, is the last year with Thornton and Marlowe on the same team. I know they have no trade clauses next season. They still have a year left, but someone's going to go. I really could see us not necessarily trying to pay for players and veterans, but there's going to be some weird changes that would happen if this team, say, fails to make the playoffs. The Pacific Division, quickly talking about the Pacific, it's going to be very close to wide open, in my opinion. Ducks got a lot of talent in terms of offense. They just underachieved last year. But their top scoring line, dangerous. Phoenix Coyotes. Dave Tippett is arguably the best coach in this division. He's done it with limited resources, and they're going to be dangerous again. Defensively, I like what I've seen when the Coyotes, they could try to repeat as division champs, for all we know. The LA Kings, Stanley Cup champs, they are also expected to do well. They've kept most, just like the Sharks, they've kept most of their team intact from last year. Just a matter of if they're hungover or not, and Jonathan Quick and his back surgery, how he recovers from that. Should be doing well. I know Kopitar's out to start the year, so we'll see what happens. But Kings, they're going to be dangerous. Lastly, the Dallas Stars, the real wild card, and I know it's wild, everything's big and Texan crazy. The Stars made some nice moves this offseason, getting rid of some of the former guys, and Neuendijk has truly put his own footprint on the team, putting in his players. You got Ray Whitney and Jaromir Jagr as their two veterans, but they also added some guys. Say they got rid of, I think Steve Ott they got rid of. They got Derek Waugh. That should be a very good addition for them. If Kari Lehtinen plays well, they could be contending for the postseason like they did last year. They did it with very limited resources. They got better this year. I mean, the whole Pacific Division is going to be dangerous. I firmly believe that this is the one division where every team has an argument to win it. And I know the Ducks underachieved last year, but you can't deny the talent they got. The shortened season, of course, it's even more dangerous everywhere because there's about 2 or 3 teams you might say that aren't going to make it. I think the Islanders and Blue Jackets are the only 2 teams that really won't make the playoffs. Everyone else has an argument, or someone has an argument to be in the hunt, and who knows? It could get very, very interesting with this shortened season that some young team out of nowhere can just start winning, like the Edmonton Oilers. I actually have the Oilers place, just little spoiler, I think the Oilers are going to squeak in the playoffs, but that's just me. I might be dead wrong, but I think their youth and the fact they're playing the AHL, it's looking good. Good thing is the Sharks had a lot of guys playing in Europe, a lot of experience out there. Ryan Close spent time coaching for the San Francisco Bulls. And we have a season underway. I do not have Stanley Cup. I mean, I'm not crazy enough to have that belief in saying they're going to win a Stanley Cup this year. But I expect this team to still show up and not get cold and sucking in the regular season. I still expect this team to make the playoffs at minimum. It'd be very wrong if they don't and say other teams get better than them, because we can't afford to let guys like the Coyotes and the Ducks, they had our number last year. And because of the shortened season and you're playing your division teams the most, you can't afford to lose to your division teams by a lot or keep losing to them continuously. Phoenix's defense just had our number. The Ducks, for some reason, had our number. That was the one team that would keep killing us every time. I think we only beat them once last year. So let me know what you guys think about the Sharks. I really like the upgrade of Brad Stewart now. Really looking back, it looks a lot better. Adam Burrish, I'm still kind of indifferent on because I don't like the length of the contract he was given. But if he can fix our penalty-killing woes and our defense, I'm all for it. Lastly, of course, I didn't talk about the goalies. Antti Niemi, I think he'll be fine. Just got to be given a good defense and good penalty kill in front of him. He's made some big saves, and if he just allows 2 goals a game, makes some big saves, that's all you need. The offense is supposed to score anyways, and the offense wasn't even doing that last year. So I don't blame the Niemi for the struggles. Last postseason, it wasn't his fault. It was mainly Patrick Marleau and the penalty killing that really hurt us against the Blues. But Niemi should be fine. Thomas Greiss should be a good backup. Still don't like Niemi's contract, but it is what it is. So let me know what you guys think. We'll see you guys later. Go Sharks, and maybe I'll talk in the mid-season, end of the season, and postseason. Let's hope so. Barring no trades, I'll have videos up. We'll see you guys later.